Yesterday was the end of the group stage at IEM Sydney, as we marked the third and final day of competition. So let's see how things have gone and get you in the know. First up, we had MONTE going head to head versus FNATIC. This sprawled into a 3-map series, with the beginning being Overpass. We started it off with Demka pulling out the blade from round 1 and slicing his way through FNATIC. It seems though all this did was annoy them and sent them into a spiral of rage, as MOUZ released the demon inside with his deagle skills, downing some big plays with the hand cannon. After blowing away the opposition, they were able to show us some nice utility. Well, MOUZ displayed this smoke from CT spawn to early smoke off the monster entrance towards B site, and Afro showed you this one, blocking off the mid peak from spawn again. A nice bit of utility that you can work into your games. After closing it down 13-10 on Overpass, we moved into Anubis, but this was a whole different kettle of fish. We saw the Spartan of Krasnor pulling out the Org and picking up another ace at IEM Sydney. After dismantling FNATIC on Anubis, we moved into the final map of Vertigo. A 13-6 victory in which Demka again commanded respect, this time securing a 1 versus 3 as he slaughtered his way through them on Vertigo, and then they moved on to the lower bracket finals. FNATIC of course losing out means that they were eliminated from IEM Sydney. The second series of the day was Complexity taking on Cloud9. Another 3-map series, starting things off with a 13-9 pickup on Anubis. Exile tried the best he could to deny these plays as he slayed with his M4, but their reign of terror was short-lived. After walking their way through the first map, we moved into Ancient. This one was slightly different, resulting in a 13-6 victory for Cloud9. On Ancient though, it was Elige that was the star of the show, and he really was the shining light for Complexity over the day, dropping a 1.38 rating and a 48-32 KD over the 3-map series. Afterwards, we saw them move on to Inferno, the third map in the series, where they steamrolled Cloud9 and secured the win in a 13-3 fashion. A huge day for them. But if you're wondering just how high that skill ceiling was for Elige, then let me show you, because it was out of the stratosphere. Complexity will then move on to play MONTE in the lower bracket, and Cloud9 have been eliminated. FAZE versus Gamer Legion was the next game on the docket, and this one was a rematch, as we'd already seen FAZE and Gamer Legion go head to head on Nuke in day 1 of the groups, though it was a very different story here, being a 13-11 victory on Ancient, a 7-13 split on Inferno, and finally a 13-6 closer on Nuke. Acor was the main man that picked up the win for them on Inferno to drag things into the third map, as he went off with a 1v3 clutch. FaZe were completely unfazed by what Gamer Legion had thrown at them though over the course of the series by the time we got to Nuke. Brokey showed us some nice utility, as from spawn, he was dropped a fair few smokes and blocks off all of the lines of sights towards Secret at outside, forcing Gamer Legion to think that this was going to be a B play. After stacking the bomb site, they walked right into his awaiting arms and gave him an ace. Lastly, it was Rops that was able to secure a 1 versus 2 clutch, eliminating Gamer Legion and meaning that FaZe will move on to the Arena quarterfinals. So let's get into the next series. MOUZ versus BETBOOM. This one was chock-a-block with OT. A 1915 affair on Mirage. But the way we got there is quite interesting. Really, it's off the back of Frozen's plays. He was a demon on the pistol round, but unable to secure it as time had ticked too far. Frustrated because of this, and in a position where MOUZ's economy was completely broken, he went nuclear though. From short, he slayed his way through everyone on the A bomb site, pulled off a 1 versus 3 clutch, and then walked them into an overtime, where they went on to win it, locking down the map 19-15. Try as they might on Ancient to claw the game back with 4Ks like this, it wasn't enough for BETBOOM, as by the time we arrived on Overpass, MOUZ were feeling themselves, and Torji was tearing his way through them, getting another ace. I know, another ace at IEM Sydney. He guaranteed MOUZ's spot in the Arena semi-finals, and BETBOOM will have to make do with the quarterfinals. Next, we turn our attention to G2 versus ENCE. Some big names in Counter-Strike right now, but this one was a quick 2-0. Diha took charge on Ancient as he was able to annihilate with his Glock, blowing some heads off. Try as you might though, the confidence didn't get him too far, as ENCE crumbled on Ancient and G2 picked up the win. Nerds, attempting to claw things back in favour of the ENCE side, went off with another pistol round for the team, opening up Vertigo with a T-side pistol under the belt. The clutches continued as Sampius also took his attempt at it, finding a 1 versus 2 clutch on Vertigo. All the clutches in the world though couldn't starve off Nico's spray control. People might tell you can't spray in CS2, but I guess Nico never got the memo. And Nico was posting a 2.98 rating on the T side of Vertigo. Those are some big numbers. After winning this one 13-8, they move on to the arena semi-finals and ENCE will have to fight from the quarterfinals. And that leaves us with the lower bracket, Complexity taking on MONTE. This one was another 2-0. A surprise affair though, because if you look at the score lines, it was a 16-13 on Overpass and a 16-13 again on Ancient, both of them forcing OT for the victories. It was Krasnal that kept MONTE in the game on Overpass as he dragged them into overtime. But JT didn't want things to get out of hand and found a 1 versus 2 to lock it down and secure the first map for Complexity. With the Complexity players having a good day of it and everyone firing on all cylinders, Floppy wanted his time in the spotlight, securing a 1 versus 2 clutch on Ancient to starve off the 12th round and deny a win for MONTE. After ending up in overtime, it was Hauser that went berserk as the beast inside came out and the scope left them broke, finding a 4K on Ancient to win it and take the series 2-0. They might be Complexity, but it's simple to say that they've made it to the arena playoffs, whereas MONTE have been eliminated. Now let's touch on the top 5 players then, shall we? At the end of the group stage, we're looking at MONTE in the top spot, leading the charge for the G2 camp. When it comes to the top 5 teams, it's G2 up on top, MOUZ, even with their substitute, posting big numbers across the board in 3rd place, Apex and BETBOOM. Lastly, let's break down the maps that we've seen over the course of the group stage, now having a bit more data of what teams are willing to play in CS2. It's Anubis that's the #1 big boy with 9 games played. So let's set you up with what the playoff bracket is looking like then. For our opening quarterfinals, we'll have BETBOOM versus Complexity and ENCE taking on FAZE clan. Then in the semi-finals, it'll be G2 waiting in the wings to see who they'll go up against. Same could be said for MOUZ that are sitting pretty with the guaranteed semi-final finish. But that's it for your update on IEM Sydney. I was in the know, and now you are too. The tournament is scheduled to kick off tomorrow, so I hope you'll be tuning in for what should be a very explosive finale to the first CS2 LAN.